Hi, I'm Sage.
And I'm AnnaBlanca.
Welcome back to the Addictive Wellness channel. Today, we're going to be talking about some of the holes in the vegan program, meaning lots of people try to go vegan for reasons that may be ethical, maybe environmental, maybe health related, but there's some holes that are easy to fall into from a nutritional perspective on a vegan diet that there are actually some great solutions for, and we're going to get into those today.
Oh my God, that makes me very happy. We have amazing friends who recently went on a vegan diet and they feel great, feel fantastic for 6 months to a year. And then because of these holes that Sage just mentioned, their health start to decline. And that's absolutely heartbroken when I hear of these stories. So we have a couple of good advice what you can do to make sure that you can stay sustainably healthy on a vegan diet.
So one of the first things to consider is the pure nutritional density of the food you're getting. That's one thing that lots of animal products have going for them is a certain nutritional density that you might not get in modern celery or cucumber or even something great like kale. You would just have to eat huge amounts of it, and there's such high, water content and lots of components in there, but you might be missing out on some of the really super concentrated nutritional density, which you can get from the whole category of superfoods. So we're looking at things like Chlorella and Spirulina. These are super high in iron, complete proteins. Spirulina, for example, is the highest source of protein there is. It's 65% protein. And I say that as far as like a whole food protein. Obviously, there's concentrated proteins that get up to 75, 80%. But spirulina is 65 to 71% pure protein. Chlorella is close behind it at 60%. You have chlorella, which is also the highest natural source of chlorophyll, 10% chlorophyll. Totally amazing. These are both packed with nutrition and really help act as almost like your nutritional insurance policy.
That sounds pretty amazing to me. When you throw down those numbers, I didn't even know them.
Yeah.
He's consistently amazing me, this guy. Love it. Or other advice would be make sure you take your enzymes, because a non-vegan source of protein is much easier to assimilate than a vegan source of protein. And if you just take a little bit of enzymes with that, you can really get a comparable results. So make sure that you pack those enzymes into your handbag or a couple of pieces in your pocket if you're a guy. It's easier for a woman. We just throw all kinds of bottle pills in our bag.
Yeah, and the research on that was specifically relating to comparing whey protein versus plant source protein powders, such as like hemp protein or pea protein. The other thing to think about is omega-3s. Now, everybody likes to talk about, omega-3s come from plants as well, like chia seeds and flax seeds and hemp seeds. These are great sources of the shorter chain omega-3s, which are known as ALA. These are good for you. They do have anti-inflammatory benefits, but they're not going to give you the same benefit as getting long-chain omega-3s like EPA and DHA. You do convert.
Fish, right?
Most people would get those, from fish, from grass-fed meats, from grass-fed butter and ghee and things like that. But you do convert a small amount of ALA to the longer-chain EPA and DHA, but it's so small you would have to consume an insane amount of the short-chain omega-3 to get anywhere even close to the amount of the long chains that you really need. So obviously the non-vegan option is like a fish oil or a krill oil. But then fortunately something that's really become much more available in the last few years is algae oil. So this is cold-pressed algae that actually is able to give you this EPA and DHA. This is super important for nervous system health and brain health.
This is another very good news. I like this.
Yeah, and bringing down inflammation as well.
And also, we know that amazing friends who are on a vegan diet, they find themselves to be deficient in vitamin B12, which is extremely important. You can get adrenal fatigue, a hormonal imbalance, and in many cases even depression if you don't get enough vitamin B12 into your diet. So make sure you take methylated vitamin B12 every day.
Yeah, the specific form is called methylcobalamin. And that's actually one that even non-vegans should be taking, because Although on a non-vegan diet, you will get more B12 than you would on a vegan diet. There's not even in most meats that much B12. B12, interestingly, is really more of an insect-derived thing. So unless you're on the program of ants, crickets, and other kinds of critters, even if you're not a vegan, you really should consider checking out a methylated B12 supplement. And then the other thing is blood building. This is something that you hear about in the Chinese system a lot. They talk about how you need to build your blood. And this is especially the case for women because obviously they have their ladies' holiday every month and lots of blood is moving on. And so that needs to be rebuilt. Otherwise, you run into problems like anemia, and that leads to feeling, weak and loss of vitality. And so there's a couple ways you can go about doing this, and they're all really fun. First, from an herbal perspective, you have two great Chinese formulas, one called ginseng and longan, and the other called bupleurum and pimi. These are classic, very effective blood-building formulas. And then you have also the herb Hoshu Wu, another blood builder. And that not only builds your blood, but it replenishes your deep core vitality. And in the mainstream awareness of vegans, they have, this image of vegans being people who have really depleted vitality. That comes from a number of reasons, but we can really work on that by taking herbs like Hoshu Wu that replenish that on a deep level and build the blood, build back that, deep, robust energy.
Powerful.
Yeah.
Actually powerful. They say it's the most restorative Chinese tonic herb.
Mm-hmm.
Take it every day.
Other good blood builders are also beets. Obviously, you can tell by the color, great blood builders. And also good for nitric oxides if you're working out, another great thing to be checking out. And chocolate. So life is good. You can fix lots of stuff just by eating chocolate. It's great.
And goji berries. We had an amazing video about goji berries, so you can look it up below, and it's also fantastic. If you can have, goji berries and longan berries.
Yeah, goji berries and longan berries as a sweet treat, and you got some chocolate as well, and some beet juice. It's pretty good. You're right on track to starting to rebuild your blood.
Nice to talk to you guys again.
Thanks so much for joining us. We hope this was a fun episode for you. Let us know if you've tried out some of the things we've been talking about. We always love to hear from you guys. Your comments really make this a two-way street and make it a great experience for us as well. So thanks so much. And of course, if you've enjoyed, please subscribe or follow us, and we'd love to keep sharing awesome stuff.
See you later.